um, particularly the way we're going to do the journeying as sort of a almost a double journey. But I'll explain that when we get there. So let's begin with just a moment of drumming, so we can attune our rhythms.
Can't hear you, Carl.
Yep. There we go. All right, let's begin with clearing the space. Clear the space with sound. Let it flow around and embrace you, as well as flow through you and your space. And turn to the west. Hail to the spirits that ride the west wind, you who bring us vision and learning. Come, join with us. Come. And I turn to the north. Hail to the spirits that ride the north wind, you who come from the dark and bring us dreams and rest. Come, join with us. Help us in our deliberations this evening. Come. And I turn to the east. Hail to the spirits that ride the east wind, you who come at the dawning of the day and the opening eye of the sun, to show what has been hidden. Bring your revelation for this evening. Come. And I turn to the south. Hail to the spirits that ride the south wind, You who come bringing music, poetry, and the words that we may tell our stories, come and join with us. Loosen our tongues and make us loquacious and eloquent. Come. And to the spirits here in this place, the spirits of the place that surround us here, that guide and protect us, that give life where we stand, where we sit, and where we lie down. We thank you for your hospitality. We are here. Father Sky, Mother Earth, ancestors, nature spirits, people of the Fae, all of us warmed by the great spirit fire. May you find this sweet. Hooray, hooray, hooray. We are here, in this place now. Clay and water from the earth, sun and wind from the heavens, a divine home for soul, abiding at the center of our being, in the center of the worlds, on the threshold to the horizonless otherworld. We are here in this place now. It is good. Let us begin. Well, are there questions from the last session? Experiences anyone had? Okay, well, we'll dive in. Any questions about the text? It was a pretty short one. We're going to cover it anyway. This time and next time. All right. Well, let me say a little bit about the origin of the directions. I tried to imagine, it's so common to see things like the medicine wheel. And I tried to imagine back what it was like, before GPS, before maps, before any kind of international communication. We had ourselves, the land and the sky, basically, and whatever waters might have been around. And so, I don't know if there's any really history to this, so this may be pure speculation, but it makes sense to me. From wherever we stand on the earth, we're surrounded by the horizon. Hence, we find ourselves at the center, of an earthly circle, I should say, a circle. Also, wherever we stand, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And so there's that directional axis, that'll go across east to west, west to east. But also, then we see the stars at night. We used to do that, actually, human beings. And we'd watch the stars, and we could see the rotation around the North Star, and the way the sun would travel too in its east-west. It would travel like north and south as well during the seasons, how high it went. And so there's that north-south axis, and I think, and then so that's where I think it came from. We have the circle. We have those two axes. And early cultures placed elements, animals, seasons, stages of life around the circle based on their landscape. And they attributed colors to the directions too. Now, in terms of elements, we most often hear the abstraction of fire, earth, air, and water. And on that one, on the handout that has the circles of the horizons that I sent, these are noted on the outer circle of that circle, around the outside there. And that's where I usually hear them being placed. But that's not universal. Some people will alter, where the elements are because there's really no reason. It's sort of logic tells us that. And wherever we might have big body of water would be where they would place the element of water. So anyway, it's what's sort of been common, but we can adapt it as we need. It becomes it's, as I said, it's an abstraction. We can change it. It's adaptable, but we can also use it as like a portable medicine wheel. Now, for the Celtic peoples, we're going to leave the text off and on tonight. For the Celtic peoples, fire, earth, air, and water weren't necessarily elements. In Rosicrucian philosophy, too, they're not called elements. They're called principles. But the Celts spoke of earth, sea, and sky. They didn't speak of fire as an element. It was a transformational thing, but earth, sea, and sky were a triad of elements that encompassed their world. But there's also an Irish story that tells of a different conception of elements. And this is going to be highly abridged because the actual story just goes on and on and on and on through history. But this is 2024, and we don't have time for that. So I'll get more to the point. So in the story, some nobles had been called to a feast by the king, but nobody showed up. The king went outside, and they were all gathered outside of the feast hall. So I said, what's up? What's holding you up? Well, it turns out someone raised a question about the partitioning of Ireland. Ireland has always been partitioned into these 4 provinces, and one at the center. And no one could remember. They'd ask each other, and they'd go find one sage who didn't know, and then he'd suggest, well, how about going and asking this one? And he didn't know. So they eventually found someone that had lived for centuries. And he was called in, and he said, well, gather everybody together, and we'll see. And so the question was put to him, and he said it was partitioned thus. In the west is knowledge. In the north is battle. In the east is prosperity. In the south is music. And in the center is kingship. So to their world, these were the elements that made up the world, the elements from which everything is constructed. Now, satisfied, the nobles could continue on into the feast hall then, because the question was answered. But the text goes on to explain more of these elements, or more about them, and elaborates on them. And then we've developed some of our own more modern ones too. For example, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The West includes vision, teaching, counsels, stories, eloquence, abundance. And the North is not just battle, but struggle, hardihood, and the rough places of life, pride. The prosperity of the East includes the hearth and home, beehives, family and friendships, along with our vocation, abundance again, wonders, arts, and treasures were all part of prosperity. And the music in the South includes the three strains of music: music of sadness, music of joy, music of peace, poetry, creativity, along with waterfalls, minstrelsy, wisdom, learning and teaching again, poetical art, and advocacy. And what was then, of course, referred to as kingship is better rendered rulership, or which for us we designate as sovereignty. And in sovereignty, in the kingship, that center, which is the part that holds all of the elements together, as I said, there was sovereignty. It also includes establishments and destruction, warriorship, oliveship, and olive is a professor. The highest poetic knowledge and professorship. That's oliveship. Fame and prosperity again. But the basic ones are noted on that handout I sent. They're on there. And yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
I have a question about the the representation of the directions, but what about the in between spaces? Is it
Oh,
just that they honor the four directions, or what about northwest and
um,
west and
most places don't. However, I did find there is an Irish reference when I was looking up the colors. When they placed colors in these places, and you see that on the Lakota medicine wheel. The one of the Irish traditions really has 12 directions. Is that right? Because they have the northeast, southeast, and then north, northeast, southeast, south. So yeah, so that would be 12 directions. So they go all the way around. And when we're doing the Wheel of the Year, I'll often begin at whichever direction corresponds. So at Samhain coming up in November, I would be beginning in the northwest. So so some people pay attention to those and some don't.
well, I just think it's interesting because when I think of the directions as the 4 points, it feels a little rigid since the earth is always turning.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I was just curious about that. Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
bet.
want to check out that wheel with the 12 on there. I want to read about
Okay.
that, I think.
Yeah,
Thanks.
if you remind me, I'll see if I can find them.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're starting with the north here. I know Tom's text started in the east, but I start. Well, as he said, what Tom wrote was, "Here it is cold and dark, the realm of midnight, of sleep, dreams, visions, and eventual regeneration, as the earth and human spirit wait to be reborn into a new dawn." Now, to me, that's the place to begin. You as I think I mentioned in one of the essays, it just about all life here starts in the dark. Either the womb or in the soil, mostly. So, so you'll notice on your worksheet that I sent out, you've got the circle of the Greek elements: the fire, earth, air, and water, and then I think the next one in is the Irish, that's become known as the Irish spirit wheel. Then, and then there's some large boxes. That's what we'll be filling in our sessions. Those boxes are for your journeys. what you find there. And they're larger not only so you could write more in there if you want, but also because they're really the most important. This is the spiritual dimension of the directions for you from where you are, with you as the center of the wheel, and of course your heart the center of you. So that's why we're beginning at the north. So do you know where the north is from where you are right now? Approximately. You don't need a compass, but you can just let the spirits take you, because that we're going into that world anyway. So you'll be journeying into the north, the spirit side of the north, from where you are now, and so that makes this a middle world journey. And here's what I suggest you do. Of course, you're always free to adjust these. When the drumming begins, call your helpers to you, and particularly the ones that we accessed the last two sessions, or you may have others as well. But call them to you. Spend a few moments attuning, to one another, and then when you're ready, ask them to take you to the spirit of the north. That's your destination, the spirit of the north. And when you reach there, whether you see something or just feel it, doesn't matter how, but when you reach there somewhere in the north, ask the question, what mystery and gift of power are there for you? What mystery or gift of power are there for you? You may be told something, words may come to you, you may be shown something, who knows? You may just have an intuition. But accept it gracefully. Perhaps you'll be given a token of something, a symbol that might represent the north for you. I can't say. That's between you and them. Okay? And when you're complete there, of course, return here, and spend some time with your helpers to help you grasp these elements of the north, for what they may mean for you. So you'll be taking what comes from the north and then coming back here to engage with your helpers to deepen the meaning. Okay? Then after the callback, we'll have a couple of moments for you to make notes, and then we'll turn our attention to the east. So there won't be a whole lot of time. I'll re-explain the journey to the east, but we'll sort of be able to stay in that state a little bit more than we often do. Any questions about the journey? Okay, I'll repeat the question then too, here in just a second. Let me get set up for this. What mystery and what gift of power are in the north for you? Okay. In the East, Tom writes of the rising sun announcing a new day, the promise of rebirth and renewal, and of course, strengthening, and a chance to live a new day better than the last one. In Egypt, there was a god of the rising sun, Kepher Ra, or sometimes known as Kepri. So this time, though, you'll be journeying to the east, as before. Call your helpers to you and spend, a few minutes with them, attuning to one another. And when you are ready, ask them to take you to the east, to the spirit of the east, and find and ask, what mystery and what gift of power are there for you. And as before, it's kind of hard to talk when you get into those states of mind. As before, when you're complete there, return, of course, to where you began and spend some time with your helpers to help you grasp the meaning and the depth of these elements of the East for you. And then we'll, pause a couple of moments to make your notes and then open the floor to any sharing or comments from the journeys or anything else you might have. Okay, so it's what mystery and what gift of power are in the East for you. What mystery and what power, what gift of power are in the East for you? anything you care to share of either mysteries or gifts? And again, on your worksheet, those larger boxes is for these journeys. So you can fill in the east and the north, yeah, if you like. It looks like we have the mystery of silence, which is okay. And I know some of you will be, intent on the debate. So if you need to leave early, maybe to get popcorn ready, or have a drink for every lie that's told, whatever you're going to do, you better use discretion. Okay. Um, there's so. Let me call your attention to the. I'll hang around. So, really the questions now in terms of your daily application. Questions are, how might we explore the mysteries and your gifts of the North and the East? In like daily life, not just in these sessions. And then on that second page of the agenda is an activity of your personal mundane directions. That is like where you live, what really are the elements there. And what I'm suggesting there is, whenever you feel like it, maybe start at the east for this. Go to the east side of where you live as best you can. And just relax, take your time, some deep breathing if you like. I like to, for some reason, I have this habit of humming and looking down. Don't look up yet, just look down. You can just go, kind of draws me in to do that. And then when you're ready, just look up and gaze with very soft eyes. Don't focus, and just see what really catches your attention. And it may not be the first thing. It might be there might be an apartment complex there, but then it may narrow down into something in particular. And it's only for this moment that this applies, because this can change too. And then when you've done that, turn 90 degrees to the right, which will turn you to the south. Do the same thing, looking down, breathing, hum, and then look up to what captures your attention. There. And again, take your time for it. Sometimes it's like right there and obvious, and sometimes you have to sort of like stay there and wait. Um, and it might look like a car at first, but then it actually focuses down to the car's headlight, as an example. And then 90 degrees, which will take you to the west, do the same thing, and then another 90 degrees to the north. And so that's your personal horizon at the moment. And these are the elements of your horizon, the elements that are part of your horizon. And they go in those small little boxes in the middle of the worksheet. Not much space in there, I know. It was hard to kind of squeeze everything in. Yeah, Heidi.
So we're not asking a question, we're just observing and paying attention to what's happening. So my first inclination is to always look for something from the natural world.
Hmm.
So is it just to whatever catches my eye, whether it's
Whatever
a
catches your
building,
eye.
a person?
Hmm.
Okay. Because that's the challenging thing. I always have it in my head that I have to look for something from nature, and
Yeah,
that gets me stuck a little, I think.
sure. And remember that an apartment complex is from nature. We are an element of nature,
Yeah.
just like an ant hill. Ants build ant hills. You know,
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
people build buildings. Um, they're certainly not the most attractive usually, but it may be an element of a significant element of your environment. Um, uh, but obviously, it's not the only one. It's not the only thing. So, yeah. Anything else? Um, just an astrological note here. Tomorrow is the solar eclipse. I don't know if it's visible in this area or not, but it's somewhere around 1:46 maybe in the afternoon. And you usually hear the new moon's a good time to manifest or like to put out to start something. Um, According to the astrologers, that's not the case with this one. Eclipses are usually not good for starting things because it's just wonky energy. But the eclipse tomorrow is also on the south node, the moon's south node, which means this is about release, letting go, reevaluating what's useful and getting rid of what's not. So it's sort of the opposite of what we usually think of for the new moon. So purge. um, there. All right, let me do the closing, and then I'll still hang around a bit.
Carl,
Yes.
just one more thing. I just want to remind people, it's World Animal Day this week. So be kind to your animals and help them as much as you can. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Good to know. Yeah. All right. Hail to the spirits that ride the west wind. We thank you for being here and giving us these visions and this learning. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. You spirits that ride the north wind, the direction that we visited tonight, we thank you for being here, for coming out of the dark to be with us. The time of parting has come. Go if you must. Stay if that be your will. Thank you. Spirits that ride the east wind with the dawning of the morning light, thank you for revealing what has been hidden until now. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. The spirits of the South, thank you for giving us the words, the stories that we can carry forward now into our lives. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. And to the spirits of this place, at the center of things, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for surrounding us with spirit support and for our spirit here. The time of our parting has come. And again, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is finished.